Good evening. My name is Paul Driscoll. I'm a Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Army Reserve, and I'm an attorney practicing here in Virginia Beach. I was mobilized on September 21st, 2006, and I did 3 months of pre-deployment training at Fort Riley, Kansas, and then deployed on a National Police Transition Team to Kuwait and then to Baghdad. I was on the ground in Baghdad from the end of January until Christmas Eve, 2007. There are a bunch of angry people everywhere. But the anger, for the Iraqis, they appreciate what we do. At least, the ones I saw on the east side of Baghdad, they're not thrilled about having foreign troops there, but they also appreciate that, we're taking the bad guys off the street, and they appreciate we've been thanked for that. They appreciate the efforts that we make in getting their institutions back up and running. All right, are they angry? Well, yeah. Nobody's thrilled about having troops go rumbling down the street, but they understand what we're doing. The Army fights because it is the policy of the United States to employ the Army in Iraq. In this case, it's been employed previously in Kosovo and Afghanistan and in Bosnia, and 100 other hot spots since the Second World War. All right, it is our job to execute the policy of the United States, and the policy of the United States is that we have an army in Iraq, and the policy of the United States is that we have transition teams in Iraq. So that's why my team and I were there. Well, the question you have to ask yourself is, I don't know of anybody that likes war. Certainly the soldiers that fight it don't. But the question you have to ask yourself is, what is worth fighting for? And while it may be great in a coffee shop somewhere or at Starbucks to sit around, oh yeah, bring them home. Okay, what is worth fighting for? What do you think is worth fighting for? And then ask them, what about this country is worth fighting for? It's my belief that most Americans, the vast majority of them, have absolutely no idea just how dangerous the rest of the world is. We live in a country where we live at the highest level of development in human history. There is not a country on the face of the earth that comes even close to the United States. And most people, we have the luxury of having weekends off to kind of recharge our batteries. We have instant communications. We have internet access. Most Americans have never lived in a place where they have to worry about the purity of their food if they can drink the water that comes out of the tap without worrying about typhoid or cholera. They live in a society where we don't have to worry about political dissent getting violent. And what we're experiencing now is an example for the rest of the world about the peaceful transition of political power. That in a lot of places, certainly in the Middle East, they have no idea what that's like. The concept that someone would willingly walk away from power is foreign to most people. There was a private first class that was assigned to a cavalry unit next to us, where we operate in Baghdad. Each part of the city has coalition units that are responsible for coalition operations on the ground. And in that particular part of town, we had a cavalry unit that was that owned that battle space, if you will. An ID went off on a patrol, and a Bradley stopped to do sensitive site exploitation, meaning examine the area of the ID. But they dismounted and they got out and they were checking out the area, hoping to get some recover some intelligence about, some fragments of the IDC, get some sense as to how it was made, that kind of thing. 3 NCOs were out of the vehicle, basically comprising the leadership of that squad. A secondary device went off that incapacitated all 3 of them, leaving the senior soldier on the ground, a private first class. That guy jumped out of his vehicle and recovered all 3 of the wounded. He had the presence of mind to work on the medic first and bring him around so that that guy could talk him through treating another badly wounded soldier. And because of his efforts and his utter disregard for his own personal safety, he got all 3 of those guys out. 2 of them made it as far as Germany, and they were able to speak to their families before they died. The last one made it as far as Walter Reed in Washington before he died. But all 3 of them got the chance to say goodbye. And for all the talk that is said about, the current generation doesn't, they don't know the meaning of sacrifice, they're not as good, they're nothing like, their grandfathers that fought the Second World War, the Korean War, the Vietnam War. It's actions like that private first class who did it based on his own personal initiative, his own courage, and the training he had that I think, bode well for the future of this country. But there are plenty of instances where people went out of their way and stuck out their necks to help out, to help their fellow soldiers or to help the Iraqis. And I don't think there are enough stories like that that are being told.